Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Daily Distinction. Glad you are here. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Hope everything is going great for you. Thank you for being here today, and got a good topic to talk about today. Brian First In wins. Don't know what the prize is, but you got it, my friend. Thank you for being here. Really glad you're here. Glad you're signed up as well for the Ultimate Business Summit. That's very cool. I appreciate that. Want to kick off by saying, don't forget that the Ultimate Business Summit is coming up August 13 and 14. Man, we've got so many great things planned for you. I really hope you're there. And let's see. Oh, today is the last day for the discount. I've got to talk to the guys and see if we can get a little special daily distinction thing working for that. But if you haven't signed up yet, today is the only day I can promise that it's under $100 to attend the Ultimate Business Summit. So please get over there, ultimatebusinesssummit.com. If you'd like more information, by the way, Wednesday morning or Wednesday noon Eastern time, Larry Winget, Randy Pennington, and I are doing a special live webinar. And the webinar is how to be more profitable in a changing marketplace. We are going to offer 10 specific ideas that can help you be more profitable in this really crazy pandemic marketplace. I am going to post the link right there for the webinar. So if you haven't signed up yet, man, I really hope that you do, because Larry was sharing some things, Randy was sharing some things with me over the weekend, and it's going to be info packed. So join us on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for how to be more profitable in the changing marketplace. It's absolutely free. All you got to do is click on the link I just posted and sign up, and hope to see you there. Cheryl, always great seeing you. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing great. Scott, thanks for joining yesterday. Saw you last night, obviously, on the Ken and Glenn show. So I was really glad that you did that. Robert as well. Great to see you. Glad that you are here. Darcy. Oh, whoops. There's the link I posted. And Darcy, there we go. Man, I got to tell you, it was a mountaintop experience. My friend JJ Virgin had me work with her mastermind group, and it was just an incredible experience. These are leading surgeons and doctors and fitness professionals and healthcare professionals. And we did a half-day program on creating distinction in your practice. So as you might imagine, with people focusing on health, good grief, there's a gazillion out there. Even if you think about cosmetic surgeons, I mean, Darcy, in our home of Indianapolis, think of how many there are right there in Carmel and Fishers and Indy and that. So how do you stand out from the crowd? And so that was it was a fantastic half day, and just so many nice things came out because of that. So I appreciate you asking. It was really, really great. Hey, Kevin. Well, out of vacation for the year. Well, darn it, I hate that, but because it is virtual, if you sign up for the VIP, you can't get the recording of the program. So that's the only way you can get it, but that's how we're doing it. Hey, Charles from Silicon Valley, Tammy is doing okay today. She is not at 100%. She had, as we mentioned earlier, Tammy had a little bit of a setback. As you know, she is tested positive, as we both have. I have too, for COVID. And she is struggling with breathing a little bit. The other thing is, I mentioned this before, but I know some folks missed it. She was saying that everything smells like cheesy popcorn balls, which would be a lot better if she liked cheesy popcorn balls, which she doesn't. But her sense of smell has been a little, set off by this. Her sense of taste isn't exactly, it's getting better, isn't exactly right. And I continue to be asymptomatic. I mean, I've had a little bit of a headache, but I think that's more to do with the clouds and the humidity here in Vegas more than anything else. So it was really something. Yeah, you bet. Holy Moses. I like that. A mountaintop experience. Hey, here's my great friend, Jim Cathcart. Jim and Paula just recently celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. And I know you're loving Texas, Jim. That's so great. And thank you. I appreciate that. Tammy's doing all right. So, and hey, Randall, I talked to my sister this morning back in Indiana, and I know it is hot and humid in the Midwest. So hope you're hanging in there. So glad you're here today, as always. So we're going to talk about, we've all felt a little bit down. I've fought it here recently, as I've been dealing with the situation where Tammy's been ill, and then I get this report that I'm positive, and it's, and I love speaking in front of a live audience so much. Jim Cathcart, I know you are exactly the same. You know, we have made our living and our livelihood and our lives, you know, in front of live audiences. And if there's anything I've realized is what an addictive drug that is, right? I mean, I miss it. I love it. And there is a part of me that has gotten down because of, you know, these changes. You know, I got a form because I tested positive for COVID-19. I got a form from the Nevada State Health Department that I needed to sign over the weekend. And it said, you know, you are not allowed to leave your house until you know, either a medical professional says that you've tested negative a couple times, or, you know, until the health department says you can. That's scary. But the thing that's also scared me is, you know, part of what we've talked about with the doctor is, you know, I presume that Tammy got it. We thought Tammy had it, right? And that she got it during the flight or at the airport or something like that, even though she was masked up. And what we're realizing is there's a very good chance that, you know, I picked it up at the grocery store, or I picked it up somewhere and then gave it to her when she got back, not realizing it because, you know, I'm asymptomatic. I feel great. And it scares me that I might have given this to my wife, or might have done something like that. And hey, LaDonna Gatlin, one of my favorite people in the world. Thank you so much. LaDonna is just a breathtaking talent, singer. And as breathtaking as her talent is, she's even better human being. You're just the best. And thank you. I appreciate you jumping on here, and thank you for your prayers. Jim, yeah, to the point. 43 years of live audiences, 3,300 engagements. Yeah, but I love these virtual meetings. Oh, thank you for saying that. I love these as well. You know, it's just it's different. Doesn't mean it's better. Doesn't mean it's worse. LaDonna, I've been watching you online. Thank you for the music that you're bringing us as well on Facebook to help keep our spirits up. So that's so important. And we've all felt down. So what can we do? What can we do? Now, I want to make it very, very clear. We're not talking about clinical depression. We are not talking about those situations that you are so down and so depressed that you need professional help. And we all have. After my first wife passed away, well, even before, you know, I was dealing with clinical depression. I went to get professional help for that. There is nothing wrong with that. They can help you in so many ways. So we're not talking about significant, severe clinical depression here. We're talking about what happens when we feel a bit down because of what's going on in the world right now, because of the changes that we've had. As I said on what I put together before the program that you saw online, you know, none of us have escaped this pandemic. Now, how much it has impacted us, the degree to which it is that you're having to deal with it in terms of everything from, you know, family members to finance to whatever it might be. I mean, that varies a lot from individual to individual, but none of us have gotten out of this. And so what can we do? And I want to suggest to you that getting down, particularly in such a crazy changing time like this, getting down is normal, but staying down is a choice. Getting down is normal. Staying down is a choice. Again, the caveat, the reminder, we're not talking about clinical depression. We're not talking about other related situations, because as doctors will tell you, one of the worst things that you can say to somebody with clinical depression is, hey, snap out of it. They'd love to. That's not what we're talking about here. But what we are talking about is, man, I had something happen. I won't go into what it was, but I had something happen this last week. And it just took the wind out of my sails. It was something that we thought was going to happen and was going to work out for us, and it didn't. You know, one of these things. When I talk to salespeople, one of the things I say is, I really don't think you're a sales professional, right? A salesperson is anybody who sells, right? But a sales professional, to me, I don't think you've really become a professional until you got a sale that you really didn't think you were going to make. And you lost one you thought you had in the bag. And I lost one I thought I had in the bag. And it just took the wind out of my sails. And you know, the rest of the day, Tammy's like, what's wrong? And I felt, I felt like I've been kicked in the gut. Have you felt that way? That's what I'm talking about here. And in that kind of situation, to be down because something like that happened, I think that's normal. But to stay down at that point would have been my choice and not a good one, right? Weldon, always great to see you. Thank you. Donovan, yeah, being prepared. Oh, that's true. Hey, Mike, great to see you. Thank you for being here. Bo, hey, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. And yeah, deep breathing, yoga breaths. It calms your mind when you get anxious. I'll get to a point about that. And coming up, thank you for that. Yeah, and has her counseling appointment. It does help. It getting professional help when you have that level of challenge. Well, then I'm so glad you said that, because it helps. So Charles, you're a pro, huh? Because you've had both of those. I know you're a pro, man. But yeah, I mean, when we get one that we didn't think we were going to get, but man, I tell you what, when we lose one we thought we had in the bag, if you didn't get a little down about that, what's wrong? Look, I have seen those folks who are professional Pollyannas. Their rose-colored glasses are on so big and so thick that you wonder if they're really connected to reality. Being a positive person doesn't mean you have to be Miss Positive, Mr. Positive, as Larry Winget says, Susie Sweet Cheeks, all the time. I love this quote from a nice woman who said that the secret of joy is the mastery of pain. The secret of joy is the mastery of pain. I love that. That's a great quote. I took my walk this morning and I'm listening to Jim Rohn, and he's talking about that, you know, if times are bad, what do? You just keep on smiling, keep on laughing? No, you've got to understand the darkness makes us appreciate the daylight. The sorrow makes us appreciate the laughter. And as he was saying that, as I was listening this morning, part of what I was thinking of is, you know, the masks that are used to represent show business. It's comedy and tragedy, because both ends of the spectrum are required to really get us to where we need to be. So if you want to handle some of these down times that we're experiencing, what do we need to do? I've got 7 things I want to recommend to you. And here's the first one, and it goes along with what we're saying about the laughter side of it. Take a laughter break. You know, one of the things that, as corny as it sounds, one of the things that helped me get out of me being so down over losing that contract was, you know, Tammy said, okay, take a break, because I'm going to grind it out, right? Get back in front of the computer, I'm going to grind it out. And Tammy very wisely said, hey, take a break for just a minute. Come down here. I want to show you something. And I went down. She hit an episode of The Office. And we sat there and laughed our tails off. And did it cure it? No, I still lost the contract, right? I'm still a little, but I went from being like 80% down to being 40% down, right? Taking that laughter break got me trending back to where I needed to be. So it might be that you watch your favorite funny movie. It might be you watch an episode of your favorite comedy television show. Whatever it is, it might be that you just take a little break to laugh a bit. Yeah, well, it is. Bruce, that's right. And that thing happened to me like at 2:00 in the afternoon, and I thought, man, I can't wait till noon tomorrow. You know, I gotta deliver this. Yeah, you bet. Hey, Bruce, I'm going to be on Bruce's show tomorrow. And Bruce, I hope you don't mind me asking, but if you would post the link to where folks can watch that, because I'd love for everybody to see you and me tomorrow. So if you'll do that, if you haven't already, I really appreciate that. Post that so folks can catch up with us tomorrow. Or even the Positivity Brothers. Yeah, there you go, Robert. Yeah, exactly. You're so right. I mean, I think, Robert, you've hit it on an important aspect here, which is that I think sometimes people believe that those that are positive are that way 100% of the time. My wife always jokes, you know, because it never fails at some meeting. And Robert, I bet you've had this before. You know, people will come up and say, "Oh, he must be so great to be married to. I bet he's like that all the time." And she'll just kind of roll her eyes and go, "Yeah, it's just a picnic 24/7." It's just because, we all have that, our peaks and valleys and our ups and downs, just like everybody, and you're exactly right. Hey, I want to say hi to Janice Simon. Hi, Janice. It's so good to see you. Janice and I met at a convention called NAPO. I think that was the first time we met. What, Janice, I believe, which is the National Association of Professional Organizers. And Janice does some incredible things at the MD Anderson Center, where she just does some incredible things there, and what an incredible place. So Janice, thank you. Glad you're here. Hey, and check out the link. That's the link that Bruce posted. I'm going to be on Bruce's show tomorrow, so appreciate that. Thanks, Robert. Yep, it's just the way it is. Okay, so take the laughter break. That's important. Take a moment and laugh and enjoy, and just break the pattern, right? Because have you ever noticed it tends to spiral? I missed out on the agreement I thought we had in the bag. I missed out on the sale I was positive we were going to make. Becomes, oh man, I bet I'll never sell that again. Becomes, not only will I not sell that again, I'll probably never sell it, right? It never gets better when you start worrying about it. It always goes down the drain. It always spirals. So part of what you need to do is to take the laughter break to break that pattern. Here's the second, and it sounds so easy to say, but I know it's difficult to do. Don't be so hard on yourself. Really. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that one of the worst things you can say to somebody with clinical depression is to lighten up. So what I'm saying to you, first of all, is this is not, as we said, talking about the clinical side of depression, but it's easy to be so critical of yourself, particularly for those of us that have tended to be achievers in the world that was normal. And now the world isn't normal, and the results aren't what they were before. And it is so easy to be so hard on ourselves. Maybe we need to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Now, I know that is infinitely easier said than done, but don't be so critical of yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, because when you can ease up on yourself a little bit, you make it that much easier to get back up after you've been knocked down. We're going to get through this. It's not easy, but this too shall pass, right? You know that old story, right? The king turned to the historian and he said, I would like to learn the history of the world in one sentence. What would it be? And the historian said to the king, this too shall pass. So true, right? And whatever this is, this too shall pass. We don't know when, we don't know what it's going to take, we don't know how it's going to be there, but this too shall pass. So don't be so hard on yourself. Janice, right? It's super easy to really be so overly critical that we continue to dig the rut, right? We continue to drill down deeper. Jim, I love this line. Worry is the mental rehearsal of failure. Don't rehearse what you don't want. Yeah. I've said that the worry is negative goal setting. It's focusing, on what you don't want instead of what you do. Yeah, absolutely. And it's so true. Anything you rehearse, you become better at doing. So don't rehearse failure. Exactly, which is why we need to ease up. Hey, Jim, you're a guiding light, a guiding example on this. Here's the third one, move. Now, Jim just moved from California to Texas. I'm not saying you've got to be that dramatic in your move. All right. By move, I mean, hey, it's why I'm walking 2 miles every morning. It's part of what we've got to do. Tony Robbins, and you've heard me say, Tony Robbins has bigger fans than I, but I do appreciate his success, and I appreciate this line particularly, which is that motion creates emotion. So if you want to create different emotion from what you're currently experiencing, you've got to get into motion. You need to move. It might be as simple as walking around the block. It might be as simple as dropping to the floor, doing a few push-ups. Whatever it is, the motion will create a better emotion. Have you ever seen an absolutely happy couch potato? Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about somebody that's a couch potato on a Sunday afternoon watching football for the day. Man, that brings me joy. I mean, the kind of people that never get up off the couch, right? Who for them, my 600-pound life is a documentary. I mean, these folks tend, not 100%, but they tend to be more down and more depressed because they're not getting the physical activity required to keep things going, to keep the blood pumping, to make things. So if you find yourself down, take a walk around the block. If you find yourself down, just do something. Move, and it will help change your attitude. Jim's right. You don't have to run a marathon, but get up off the couch, move. The other thing, Tammy and I watched that comedy, Jim, and we laughed, and then I've got an exercise bike. I got on the exercise bike and did 45 minutes on the exercise bike, and when I was done with my ride, so was my bad attitude. It was done too. Move. Here's number 4. When you're feeling down, set a small goal or think of some small project you can do, and don't stop until it's finished. That could be anything from a small business project to just cleaning a shelf in your garage. Just some small project, and see it through to the end. Because that sense of completion about that project will make you feel good that you got something done, and that will help encourage you to do more. Look, we're not going to bat 1,000, right? I know in my head that I'm not going to sell everything where I'm being considered. I'm not even going to bat 1,000 at the ones I think I got in the bag, obviously, right? But I'm not going to go 0, 0, 0 either. And so completing this project kind of lets me know, hey, things will be completed. Things will get done. I'm going to be all right. Setting that small goal, that small project, and completing that will reinforce good feelings about yourself. Here's number 5, something you folks do, I know. Read or listen to something inspirational. You know, I mentioned I listened to Jim Rohn this morning when I walked, probably, 3 mornings out of 7 when I'm doing my walk, I'm listening to Jim Rohn or Earl Nightingale or Zig Ziglar. I'm listening to something that is inspirational, that's positive. Why? Because I've always viewed our attitude as kind of like a thermostat. And it's really easy to set that thermostat first thing in the morning. And many times when you set the thermostat at the right temperature, it'll remain where you want it to be throughout the day. But if you don't set that thermostat in the morning, you might not have the right mental temperature, so to speak, throughout the day. So reading or listening to something inspirational is one of the keys to deal with this. And I especially want to recommend that you do it first thing in the morning. One of the things I noticed, this is back in my old disc jockey days, a gazillion years ago. One of the things I noticed was that the radio station I worked for, I had a clock radio, so I set the alarm on my radio to go off at the radio station I was working for, right? And one of the things that I noticed was that whatever song was playing when the clock radio went off, that song was like an earworm. It was burned in my head almost all day. I mean, that was one of the things I would do when I got to work too at the radio station. Was I'd want to start hearing other music to get that stupid song out of my head, but then it never failed. If it was a new hit song, I'd have to play it like 4 times while I was at work. And oh my gosh, and I never got it out of my head. But I thought it was so interesting that the song varied. It was whatever song was the first thing I heard that morning. And I think so many times those of us that wake up to the news, or those of us that wake up to a clanging alarm clock, or those of us that wake up to a song, could it be that we aren't setting our mental thermostat properly first thing in the morning? Now, again, I'm not trying to make you into Pollyanna. I'm not trying to make you into rose-colored, the world is always perfect. And not that at all. I'm not trying to be naive about this. But there are techniques we can use to improve. So what's the first bit of input that you're putting in? Because it's going to tend to stick. When we wake up, the mind hasn't really grabbed onto anything just yet. So what's it going to grab onto? Be in control of that. Critically important. Hey, if you're feeling down, it's a great time to reach out to someone. Because do you have friends? Do you have friends? Of course you have friends. But do you have friends like, one of the things that you probably noticed with the guys like Mark Sanborn and Joe Calloway and Larry Wingett, Randy Pennington, me, is that we talk every day. I mean, literally, we talk through email or texts or phone calls or all every day. And I've noticed that sometimes when I'm down, Joe is up and he can help, and vice versa, right? And so having those friends that you can reach out to, man, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that. Reach out to somebody. If you're feeling down, it is absolutely fine, and it's absolutely important that you reach out to somebody. Robert is spot on here. Whatever you focus on with passion grows, right? Thoughts become emotions, emotion becomes actions, actions become results, positive or negative. And Robert, we've talked about here before that, the word consequences tends to have a negative connotation. There was an old television show called Truth or Consequences. Like truth is good and consequences are bad. And that's not true. Consequences, it's neutral. If we do the right thing, we get great consequences. If we do the wrong thing, we get bad consequences. And so what we have to understand is if we don't do these steps that we're talking about today, what is the consequence that we can expect? We can expect to continue to spiral. So reach out to someone, and here's the seventh. Set priorities. Set priorities. Many speakers have said it. And I know I've said it, Jim said it, not that we're stealing quotes, I don't mean that, but because it's so true. And that is that many people major in minor things, right? We major in minor things. We don't focus on the important, we focus on the urgent. And I really want to suggest that if you want to get back up, part of what you need to do to get back up is to take action. Of course, getting up is action, but you got to get up to do something. So what's that going to be? Set a priority. When we set priorities, we have a better grasp of the big picture. Sometimes it is that one little sale we didn't get as opposed to the direction that we're taking that bothers us, right? I mean, I know we're going the right direction. This is just a speed bump to get us to think, well, what could we have done better? How could we have done it better? How do we serve that client more effectively? Maybe it wasn't right to begin with. Maybe we put too much on their plate before we helped them get to where they were ready to dine. All of those things. So losing that sale, in fact, has stimulated a conversation that maybe our priorities weren't in the right place in terms of how we were setting it up. So setting priorities helps you get to where you need to be. So let's review this 7 very quickly before we're out of here today. And one is take a laughter break. Second is don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself a break. Next, physical activity. Move. Do something. Set a small goal or project and complete it. Read or listen to something inspirational. Reach out to friends. Let them help charge your battery and lift your spirit. And set some priorities of things that you need to accomplish to make a difference. Because the secret of joy is, in fact, the mastery of pain. We're all going to get down, but staying down, that's a choice. Hey, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're getting in here late, please don't forget the Ultimate Business Summit is coming up August 13th and 14th. Hope to see you there. And sign up for the webinar. It's absolutely free. It is a free session with Larry Wingett, Randy Pennington, and me on how to be more profitable in a changing marketplace. It's absolutely free. It's a webinar, a live event that we're doing. So, hey, Allison, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I hope you have a great day as well. Hope everybody has a great day. And I hope if you're down, this helps you get back up. That's all for us for today on Daily Distinction. I look forward to, thank you. I appreciate that, Janet. Thank you so much, Janice. I appreciate that. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow, same time, right here. Have a great Monday. See you tomorrow on Daily Distinction.